It's such a pleasure to have you all with us tonight, and I know this has just been a big day that's been prayerfully considered. There's a whole bunch of people all across the state of South Dakota who have been eager to find a leader to lead this great state in a direction with a servant's heart, with wisdom, with true leadership that serves the people, that benefits the people of South Dakota. For years, we've looked for exactly that, and a few years ago, I had the great pleasure of meeting two wonderful people, Representative John Hansen and Representative Carla Lenz. It was at a Canton landowner event. You see, there was a land grab happening in the state of South Dakota, and it was a standing room event just like this, except that time, farmers and ranchers were under attack. That time, our backyards were at risk, our families, our children, our livelihoods, our legacy. Carla was on stage speaking with that fire in her belly that we know and love. She was speaking from the heart, and she was fighting for the people of South Dakota. I sat in the back that night and I listened to the words of this woman who was so passionate, so patriotic, and was serving and showing up for the people, and I thought, wow. And then a gentleman named John Hansen walked into the back. He stood in the back with a bunch of us, and I shook his hand, and I was so excited to meet him. And instantly, I felt like I had known him my whole life. If you guys know John Hansen, you know a few things about him. He's got a megawatt smile. He's got kind blue eyes. He's got a listening ear, and he shows up. He's not virtue signaling. He's not doing it for a photo op. He is resolute. He is strong, he listens, and he does the boots on the ground work when nobody else is watching. He's not looking for accolades, he's not looking for a big trophy to cart around the state. All he wants to do is the right thing. We, the people, expect true Republican leaders that will actually follow the platform and serve the people of South Dakota. And I don't know about you, but I think John Hansen and Carla Lenz fit that bill perfectly. But you don't have to take my word for it. I have a whole bunch of people lined up to back me up on this statement, and there's a whole bunch of people back home that agree with me as well. Tonight I'm going to invite some special speakers onto the stage to speak to the character, the grit, and the resolute, principled leadership that is exhibited by these two wonderful individuals. First, I'd like to introduce Leslie Unruh. She is the director of the Alpha Center, our pro-life champions in the state of South Dakota. She has worked alongside John in the fight against the effort to cement abortion into our Constitution. Together, they were successful in defeating Amendment G. Leslie continues to move this effort forward with her work and her tireless efforts, and I'd like to invite her onto the stage. Please help me welcome Leslie.
Okay. Nobody told me I was first. Okay. Hey, guys. I am so glad to see all of you all across this state. I've been to a lot of political events. I've seen a whole lot. And a lot of beginnings, and I'm telling you what, this is a new one. It's for such a time as this, right? We have a huge job to do in this state and clean up some things, and we have been trying to get that done for a long time. And we've been doing a lot of politics behind the scenes, and we're just tired of it. We're tired of everything having to be so hard. I've worked with John 3.5 years now. We knew each other for a lot of years, but we worked on the G, and we won. All of you, thank you very much. And you know that they don't always come back, right? There's been some polling done recently, and they're thinking about it again. And so we need to send a strong message, and I think that John and Carla, and Carla's mama, stand up, would you, Mama? This is the lady. If Carla gets out of line, you just give her a call, okay? I have known her for many, many years, and I knew Carla's dad, father, and family, and I'm going to tell you what. We got to have some grassroots. We got to get people who will get on their knees and pray, and I know that's what Carla's made of, and that's what her mama is all about, right? Now, I just am thrilled that I get to come and see all of John's little ones here. Some of you have been calling me and saying, we're worried, we don't know. Is it going to be okay? Are the kids going to be okay? Well, guess what? People used to say that to me too, a lot of years. But I'm here to tell you, we're all going to be there for you, Sheila. We were there before during G. Were we not? That means if she needs her place vacuum cleaned, we're there. If you need food, we're there. There are people out in this audience. We're all family, and we all have to take care of each other. So, there's a price. There's a huge price. You guys know the price. I know it probably more than anybody right now because Alan's had a brain bleed on December 1, and I'm telling you, there's a price when you just go, nonstop. But I'm telling you, if we have prayer and friends and go door to door, there's a door-to-door crowd right over here. Where are you at? Gold shoes and everything. There is a group in this room. If nobody gets into this back and forth and, wanting credit, we can get it done, okay? Let's all go out there and let's get a new governor, right? Okay, thank you.
Next, Brett Kenzie hails from central South Dakota, operating a 3,000 head feedlot while raising his family of 8 with his lovely wife. Brett has been involved in the fight to protect the independent farm and ranch family for years by promoting positive agricultural policy that'll keep producers on the land. He has been a great friend to South Dakota agriculturalists representing our #1 industry of the state of South Dakota. Please help me welcome Brett to the stage.
All right. Thank you, Amanda. Family of 7. I'm not in a race with John, although we did discuss that earlier. No, it's pretty awesome. Is there some energy in here tonight? I'm so thankful. This is a night that I've prayed for a long time. First, because I'm from West River, South Dakota, and it rained. I mean, in a state that has 4 times as many cows as people, what does it do to our balance sheet when you get an inch and a quarter of rain after a long dry spell? So let's pray for everybody that hasn't got the rain yet. It's coming. The second reason is because we're here today, and I'm so thankful and honored to be asked to speak here because we've waited a long time for real people to have real candidates, and I think that's why we're gathered here tonight, and that's why there's such an incredible crowd. Like Amanda said, I am a 4th-generation cattleman from near Gregory, South Dakota. My brother and I are partners. My mother still works at this today and lives on the ground that our family homesteaded all those years ago. And I think that we need to talk a little bit about multi-generational because, number one, I've heard be humble because a lot of great things were done before you were ever born. And that's what multi-generational ag is. It's a multi-general aspiration to leave it better for your kids and your kids' kids than you found it, right? And so I'm just thankful to be a multi-generational ag operator, and I'm here tonight because I know that that's a vision that John and Carla share as well, whether it's agriculture or just the freedom. And talk about being a recipient of a multi-generational aspiration. If you've had a chance to look around this place, it is incredible. It oozes, God bless America. God bless our fallen heroes. And so that's what I wanted to say about multi-generational aspirations. We have all received that, agriculture, not agriculture, that gift of freedom, and it was not free. So in ag activism, I have had an opportunity to be around a lot of leadership, and I was in the military for 3 years too. You get exposed to a lot of leadership, some good, some bad. And it's easy to spot when you see good leaders. And one of the things that I see in John and Carla is the fact that they start every conversation on a positive note, right? And when you do that, you're aspiring to something. You have a goal, you have something to work for. And by starting every conversation on a positive note, saying what you're for, it helps rally people around you and keep them grounded and keep them focused. And it helps you yourself to stay rallied and focused. And I think that this motto up here behind me, faith, family, and freedom, could there be a better thing to aspire to for a campaign for the governor of a great state like South Dakota? Another thing that I've seen truly good leaders do is they take big problems and they take them to their root in an attempt to solve that problem. In the Army, we called it eating the elephant one bite at a time, right? And an example of that would be the overreach that we see in every level and branch of government in America today. This overreach that these administrative agencies have. Why do we have that? We have that because Congress isn't doing their job with oversight. We keep going down the flow chart. Why isn't Congress doing their job? It's because we haven't voted correctly. We need to be better voters. We need to vote. But what's the one critical thing that we've been missing? Good people to vote for. So again, that's why I'm glad to be here endorsing John and Carla. The last thing I wanted to say is truly good leaders, if something needs done, they do it. I learned that the hard way in agriculture. If something needs done, you just tackle in and do it. And I've seen Carla and John from eastern South Dakota to western South Dakota addressing issues that they easily could have said were somebody else's job. So I guess I'm just here to say that I'm so thankful that John and Carla accepted the challenge, because they have been issued a challenge we all have, right? The lady asked Benjamin Franklin, "What have you given us?" And what did he say? "It's a republic, if you can keep it." That's a challenge. South Dakota state motto. A guy younger than me would have thought that was a promise. Under God, the people rule. It wasn't. It was a challenge. And the very last thing that I'll say are words that people get tired of hearing me say, but I think we all need to say them more. All men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, among those being life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And governments are instituted amongst men to preserve those rights. Make your kids memorize that. Their rights don't come from government. Government is there to protect their rights, and I have every confidence that that's what John and Carla will do. So don't be shy about this, guys. Get behind them and let's get it done. Thank you.
I'm so excited to introduce our next guest to the stage. Liz May comes to us from Kyle, South Dakota. She's a rancher, a business owner, a wife, mother, and grandmother. Yes, Liz, you can come up here. Her business savvy, her fierce spirit, her commitment to preserving the Constitution makes her a truly gifted, talented, and incredible legislator and servant of we the people. Liz has served alongside John and Carla in the fierce fight against the establishment for the people of South Dakota. Please help me welcome the one and only Representative Liz May to the stage.
Well, you know, it takes something pretty important for me to come East River, being from West River, right? That doesn't happen very often. John and Carla are pretty important, so that's why I'm here. Good evening, everybody. I'm so glad to see such a great turnout. I just want to give you a little background. When I first came into South Dakota legislature, you know, I thought, being a country girl, I'll just bring some facts, a little bit of grit, a little bit of common sense, and we get some things done. and then I could go home. After all the Republicans, we held the supermajority, we had the House, the Senate, the governorship. So you'd have thought that that would have meant smooth sailing. Well, it didn't take me long to learn otherwise. In my first term, and I look over at Manny, there were 6 of us across both chambers who stood firm on common sense and conservative values. And the rest, well, let's just say they were a little bit left of the middle of the road. And over time, through all these hard debates that we had on the floor, or even harder lessons, I learned an important question in politics and in life. Who do you trust? Who do you trust? Because trust isn't about the handshakes or the campaign flyers. It's about who shows up when it really matters. Who doesn't flinch when your freedom's being challenged, your family or your land is on the line. And when it came down to protecting private property rights, over these past 4 years, 2 names immediately jumped to the forefront, in my mind, in the political world. There was the Speaker of the House, John Hansen, and Carla Lambs. And together, we stood shoulder to shoulder, and we won the fight, not with political games, but with common sense and the Constitution. John and Carla, that's a team you can trust. Trust, remember that. I don't say that lightly. And that's why I'm proud to stand here today with John and Carla, who are my friends, my colleagues, and leaders who have never wavered in putting our people first, ever. And now they're stepping up once again, this time to give us the opportunity to vote for them and support them in their race for governor and lieutenant governor. So I'm going to leave you with this, and I want you to think about this. Who do you trust? When you look out there, whoever's running, who will you trust? I'll tell you who I trust. I trust John Hansen, I trust Carla Lambs, and I trust the good people of South Dakota to choose leaders who will defend our values, protect our land, and always put the citizens of South Dakota first. I've watched them do it. So now it's up to all of us. We got to get out there. We've got to make this happen. So let's make this happen. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the people of South Dakota. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to welcome an individual who I didn't know 4 years ago, but today I consider him a brother. Jared Bosley is from Brown County. He's a farmer and a rancher who has worked his entire life to build a legacy and pass this beloved agriculture way of life that we hold dear to his children, Jackson and Brooklyn. Even though he never asked to be in the spotlight in the battle for our private property rights, when an out-of-state, foreign-backed company invaded the place that he calls home, Jared found himself the face of a private property rights battle that has, quite frankly, changed the entire political landscape in the state of South Dakota, and dare I say, for the better. Please help me welcome Jared Bosley.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's kind of mind-boggling when you think about this a few years ago. I couldn't do this, I'm sure of it. I still don't know if I'm good at it, but I keep getting asked to speak, so here we go. South Dakota, the next chapter starts now. And like some of others, we have waited finally for good candidates that we know will stand by us. Every single one of us matters out there. I've got to learn this the last few years just because of what has kind of happened at the ranch operation there. I had that place invaded, totally locked down. You couldn't get in or out of that place without being in a spotting scope and radio and armed guards, everything. And I tell you what, to be a man on an operation, that's the most helpless feeling you can have, is to look at your dad and see the fear. Your wife, your kids are now scared to be there. And we went through the judicial system, and it failed us. I personally asked our past governor what she was going to do, and she told me that she can't fight all my battles. I said, all right, we got it. The people of South Dakota got to work, and John and Carla were there from the beginning, before the drill rig showed up. When you get your constitutional rights stepped on like ours were, you have that helpless feeling of who you can count on, who you can trust. Under God, the people rule. You thought it meant something. You have private property rights. And if you lose them, you lose freedom. George Washington said, private property rights and freedom go hand in hand. You cannot have one without the other. And that means something to John and Carla, because they showed up and they never left this fight, even when everyone said we couldn't do it. We couldn't beat the money. Well, grassroots in South Dakota, we did. It took a few tries, but we got it done. And now we go to the next chapter. Now we're getting to where we want to be. We're getting more good legislators, just like Liz said. Now you start outnumbering the bad guys, and good things happen. Bills that are for the people, not to the people. And John and Carla have stood there through the test of time. I trust them. I 100% trust them. They have been there. They stood beside me and helped hold me up when I thought I had nothing left I could turn to. A lot of friends were there, a lot of community people were there, and so were they. From the beginning, they didn't show up after the grassroots got momentum. They helped the grassroots get momentum. And that matters to me, and I 100% fully trust them. And I'm just honored to be here. And grassroots, you helped hold me up. And I can assure you, I will have the back of both of them and fully support them. So grassroots, get behind me and let's help hold them up and let's make them the next governor and lieutenant governor of the greatest state in the nation. God bless and thank you.
To kind of wrap things up that Jared mentioned, you know, this landowner movement is one that I accidentally found myself involved in when this pipeline decided to put its path right a half a mile where my 4 children sleep. So I was a mama bear that was quite upset about this project, this Green New Deal boondoggle. But it isn't just that. You see, that one issue awakened the entire state to pay attention to how our elected officials vote, how they treat everyday citizens when they actually show up to peer, how they listen and how they respond compared to what they put on their flyers. And I don't know about you, but when I started showing up to peer to testify for bills, I was horrified. Because the lobbyists got the red carpet rollout and the wonderful treatment, and we, the people, the everyday moms and parents and grandparents and farmers in plaid, got looked at with disdain and disgust, like, why are you even here? That was a mistake. Because since that awakening, the people are showing up. The people The people are expecting change. They are fighting for it, and they are locking arms and standing united, strong and together alongside people like Carla and John. And guess what? We are winning. We are winning big for the state of South Dakota. Just to chalk up a few wins, obviously we talked earlier about Amendment G and getting that defeated and finally protecting life in the state of South Dakota. When that egregious slap in the face, when they put the lipstick on the pig of SB 201, RL 21, what did we do? We voted out 13 legislators that voted for that garbage legislation, and we replaced them with true servant leaders. Then we got to the election, and not only did we take control of the House and the Senate, but we have Speaker of the House, John Hansen, and the first Speaker Pro Tem of the state of South Dakota, female Speaker Pro Tem, Carla Lems, leading the helm in the House. And when the grassroots citizens referred that law, RL 21, the people of South Dakota got to work, and we defeated that bill in 65 of 66 counties with 59% of the vote, officially putting the state of South Dakota's elected officials on notice that they work for the people and we are not for sale. And then finally, my dear friends, Carla and John, were in the thick of things to help carry across the finish line a bill called HB 1052 to officially eliminate eminent domain for the carbon sequestering boondoggle once and for all for we the people. And this is just the beginning. I can attest to you that what I saw in this fight were two leaders, two patriots, two fearless, tireless, proven, and powerful warriors who are working for the people. They have no interest in being powerful just for the sake of a title, like so many. They are here to do the work, and they need your help to get it across the finish line. And someone asked me the other day, a reporter asked me the other day, they said, "What do you think about John Hansen and Carla Lems running for office?" And I said, I couldn't recommend them more, but I would never bet against the people of South Dakota who are going to help them get this across the finish line. That's all of you. There's two very special people here that you're all excited to hear from tonight, and it is my great honor to introduce Carla Lems, your Speaker Pro Tem, my sister in Christ, your next Lieutenant Governor of the state of South Dakota. Welcome, Carla Lems.
My goodness, how great it is to be here with people who love God, revere the Constitution, and live in this great state of South Dakota. Essentially, that is why we are all here, because we believe under God, the people rule. And I just want to tell you all, first of all, I just want to thank you all for coming, and I want to give a shout out to the press for being here as well. Thank you as well. So being from a farm background, I learned at an early age to work hard. And since my dad had no boys, there were 3 of us girls, we got a lot of experience sorting cattle, walking beans, and delivering meals to the guys. And if you're any other farm girls in here, I'm sure you can relate. But we learned how to get the job done right. And then I got married to my high school sweetheart. And we have a great family. And in fact, some of them are here tonight. So if you could just raise your hand. My husband, Galen, my mom, my in-laws are here as well. My son, Jay, and his wife, Hannah, daughters, Laura and Kaylin are here. And of course, some of the most important people here, my grandkids, Maine, Wynn, Lavin, and Andy. So before I was a legislator, my political involvement was on the county and the state party level. During that time, I started to see the Republican Party splinter out in Washington, D.C. Politicians would say one thing to get elected, but then go to Washington and do another. I and others sensed the train was coming off the tracks. State government was much the same, but more camouflaged. So there was an opening in my district, and my husband and I decided it was time for me to run for the House. Shortly after my announcement, I remember talking to a gentleman, and his name was John Hansen. The event we had both attended was winding down for the night, and I saw him sitting off to the side of the room. I introduced myself, and he answered my probing questions about what was it really like fighting in the trenches. Working as a legislator wasn't the rosy picture that I had imagined. It was apparent we needed more patriots in Pierre, ones that would stand for our God-given rights, our Constitution, and our way of life. Thank you. So I ran for office to hopefully bring another voice to the fight. So after arriving in Pierre, I saw that, in fact, the red carpet was rolled out for special interests, but the people were ignored, or at times they were treated with disdain. This is true. This was not at all how I thought it would be or how it should be. So for the last 3 years, John Hansen, myself, and others have worked to change the political landscape in this state. And we have done just that. I will let Speaker Hansen tell you more about that. But our true teamwork actually started in Leola, South Dakota. Now, I know you've heard a lot about property rights tonight, and Jared has told you a little bit about his fight. But I want you to know that it was more than that. It was a fight for our inherent, God-given rights that our Constitution enshrines and that our loved ones fought and died to protect. So upon hearing about the situation in Leola, I called John on the phone. So this was after I had 1 year in office. So I called John, asking him if he wanted to go on a road trip. Now, mind you, he was in the middle of a big battle with Amendment G at the time. So I didn't know if he would have time to go. But you know how he responded? He responded with a frequent John phrase. And those of you that know him have probably heard him say this. He said, "Let's go." This pivotal meeting, yes. So this pivotal meeting at Leola, South Dakota changed the way that we did things. We went to where the problem was. We listened to the people. We fellowshipped with them. And then we got to work. It became a template of what was to come. And as they say, the rest is history. So why? You may be asking, so why John Hansen for governor? Because he stands for the things that I believe in. And I've seen him lead even when it gets rough. If you can stand in the midst of the storm and still do what is right, true, and just, you will get my vote and my support. So you, the people of South Dakota, you have a choice to make. You can choose the status quo or choose a better way forward. I'll tell you this, courage begets courage. And we don't always know the timing, but we are promised that the truth will prevail. And I'll just tell you this too, other states are now looking to us. We here in South Dakota are paving the way. We are leading. We have learned how to not just fight, but we have learned how to win. So we just need to be reminded of how is winning defined. Remembering the foundation that was laid, reestablishing ourselves upon it, and moving ahead together, because in South Dakota, under God, the people truly do rule. And I have one other thing to add to that. South Dakota will lead the way. So if you would all help me by welcoming the next governor of the great state of South Dakota, Speaker John Hansen.
Wow. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I want to start out just by saying thank you to Carla, Amanda, Leslie, Brett, Liz, Jared, everybody who helped out putting all this together. Isn't it always good to be in a room full of patriotic, freedom-loving South Dakotans? That is awesome. We're gathered together tonight for one important reason: to give our state government back to we the people. South Dakotans deserve a government that puts families first again, not special interests or corporate lobbyists. A government that doesn't tax people out of their home through skyrocketing property taxes. A government, yeah, absolutely. A government that champions freedom and the free market, not crony corporate welfare, funded by your taxes, by the way. A government that's defined by transparency and accountability and excellence, and where the corruption and the scandals that you've been seeing in the news are ended. And a government that doesn't sacrifice our liberties and our land to Green New Deal scams. Put just right, South Dakota needs to get back to a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people. Yes. But too often, yeah, absolutely. But too often, the great people of our state have had to go fight and beg and plead just to get the government in Pierre to do the right thing. And so it's time for tested, trusted, faithful, conservative, grassroots leadership in this state. And that's why tonight I'm announcing that I'm running to be governor of the great state of South Dakota. Thank you very much. You know, I don't come from money or politics or entitlement. I am of the people, and I have been down in the dirt fighting for the people. Where I do come from is the small town of Del Rapids. There we go. We got our Del Rapids people here. I live in Del Rapids with my wife, Sheila. She is amazing. She's incredible. And our 6 kids, yeah, absolutely. You guys want to stand up real quick? Just stand up real quick. There's Sheila. We've got 6 kids. They're all down here. William, Garrett, Lily, Jude, Hope, and Samuel. Say hi, everybody. There you go. Sheila and I met in high school. We were high school sweethearts, as they say. She was a farm girl and I was a town kid. And so, if I wanted to hang out with Sheila after school, there was one place that I knew she would always be, and that was the family milking barn. So, I learned how to milk cows. And I think I might hold the record for the most cows milked by a town kid in South Dakota history. I'm pretty sure about that. If there's 3 things we love, it's small towns, big families, and Almighty God. Our state motto is under God, the people rule. It's not just some slogan. It's our way of life. It's who we are and who we're supposed to be. But our way of life is under threat. We've seen it over and over and over again in Pierre. The people's interests are becoming second to special interests. And attacks on our South Dakota way of life are ignored by the people who are entrusted to protect it. We see bureaucrats in Pierre handing out millions in corporate welfare checks, using your tax dollars while you suffer under the burden of high taxes. We see shady deals with big political donors that are costing us, we the taxpayers, millions and millions in wasteful government spending. And of course, we've seen out-of-state special interests continue to attempt to amend our Constitution with extreme leftist policies. And of course, we all know out-of-state companies have been emboldened by lobbyists and politicians to come to South Dakota to try to take our land and use it for Green New Deal scams. Oh, but the tide is turning, isn't it? Grassroots patriots from all across the great state of South Dakota are standing up, and we are saying in record numbers, no more corruption, no more waste and abuse, no more attacks on our land and our liberties and our way of life. Today renews the coming of the end for all of that. I have been in this fight alongside a lot of great, God-loving, freedom-loving, conservative, grassroots patriots in the state, many of whom are in this room tonight. And together, love you all. Together, united in a common purpose, we have squared off against some of the biggest political giants on the biggest of issues, and we have won. This coalition, the grassroots in this state, we know how to win. We have won, and we are going to continue to win on behalf of the people of this state. 100%. We have fought the good fight on private property rights and ended eminent domain for the Green New Deal carbon sequestration pipeline. Together with my dear friend Leslie Unruh, who you met earlier, her and I led the way with a life defense fund, and we did what many thought was impossible. In spite of all of the polls and the politicos out there who said it couldn't be done, we defeated Constitutional Amendment G. Praise God. Praise God for that victory. Life is protected in South Dakota, and it's so good. During COVID, I stood up for you, for your freedoms against shutdowns and crazy vaccine mandates. We are ending woke and restoring common sense in South Dakota. Boys must use boys' bathrooms and girls must use girls' bathrooms. You wouldn't think that would need a law to be passed in South Dakota, but there we were. We stopped cross-sex trans procedures from taking place on minor children right here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We ended that. We're protecting kids. And we fought hard, and together we protected girls' sports. We are securing our elections. We are protecting our Constitution from big money, out-of-state influence. I've passed laws expanding education choice through tax credit scholarship programs, and we're cracking down on government corruption with stronger accountability. The bottom line is, we are battle-tested, and we are ready on day one to clean up here and restore the government back to the people. So as your governor, we will build an even better South Dakota where you and your family come first again. Here's one thing's for sure. As your governor, I will never sit by and allow our farmers and our landowners to be steamrolled by an out-of-state land-grabbing company ever again. That is over. I've spoken with so many families who are struggling with property taxes. Young couples just starting out, families just trying to put food on the table, grandparents on a fixed income. And so I'm here to tell you, we will end the excessive strain of property taxes in the state of South Dakota. But you know, we don't want to just simply shift from one tax to another. We need to actually cut government waste and actually reduce the size of our state government. And so to do this, there we go. To do this on day one, we will create South Dakota Doge. ASAP. We will have real government transparency and accountability again, and the scandals and the corruptions will be ended. Anyone in the bureaucracy who's stuck in the old ways and who's not fully committed to transparency and accountability and excellence, they will have no place in this administration. You know, families across the state deserve the best education for their kids. And whether that's public school or non-public school or homeschool, we need to equip our parents as the primary educators of our children and the teachers who assist them with the resources that they need to form good, moral, intelligent kids. And administrators in our schools who fail to do that, we need to hold them accountable, and they will be held accountable. And to help families have the freedom to choose the education option of their choice, we will provide education choice grants starting on day one. Our economy will thrive with high-paying jobs through the best economic driver in human history. It's called the free market. Oh, yeah. No more taxpayer-funded special interest kickbacks and corporate welfare spending. We're going to get back to the nuts and bolts. We will focus on low taxation and low regulation that truly helps South Dakota businesses and entrepreneurs thrive. Hey, did you know that your taxpayer money has been going to fund transgender cross-sex hormone therapy for our prisoners. You're paying for that. Did you know that? It's crazy. Did you know that our state institutionalizes the woke ideology by putting trans sex designations on official state documents? They do that too. By executive order, we will define man and woman, and we will end woke and restore common sense once and for all in South Dakota. And we will always have the backs of our farmers and our ranchers. We will support our family farms and ranches and find new markets, new pathways to consumers, and new ways to help family farms pass down to the next generation. It's so important. And then we will become the Green New Deal graveyard in South Dakota. And the only thing in South Dakota that's going to get sequestered are leftist climate policies which seek to control our land and our people. You know, most importantly, you will have a governor who you can trust to fight for you. Someone who knows how to get the job done on day one. The people of this state, the great people of South Dakota, will no longer have to beg and plead their governor just to do the right thing and defend their rights and their values. We will lead with the truth. We will lead with conservative values, and with trust in God, South Dakota will lead the way. The grassroots movement in this state is thriving because we stand united. It's because we have each other's backs. And in that same spirit, I'm honored to say that joining me on this ticket is Speaker Pro Tempore Carla Lemps. Carla has a heart of gold and a backbone of steel. She will not compromise. She will not compromise on your values, on our values. She's a grassroots warrior. She's proven herself to be someone who you can carry the torch and lead on big issues for the people of this state. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking South Dakota's next Lieutenant Governor, Carla Lemps. My friends, we stand at a crossroads. Do you really want the same old status quo leadership in the executive branch? Or do you want a proven, conservative, grassroots governor? Carla Lemps and I, we have fought the fight for life and liberty and property, and we are winning for you. And with you, we will stand together, we will fight together, and we will win this race for the people of the state of South Dakota. We will ensure faith and family and freedom prevail, and South Dakota will lead the way. God bless you all, and God bless the great state of South Dakota.